Colonel Sridharan, distinguished organizers and guests on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. My sincere thanks to Sridharan for inviting me here to inaugurate this PolyCare. And this is the first time in my life full of inaugurations that I am inaugurating so many things at one shot. Because usually I am asked to inaugurate a hospital, a college, or some department. I end up with cutting some ribbon. And here I am, I seem to be inaugurating so many things at one shot. And this is marvelous, including a food establishment, which unfortunately is not open today. I thank Sridharan also for making, on behalf of old people all over, for getting into old age a happy affair. Mostly young people think they will never get old, and when they get old, they still pretend they are young. But here is somebody who is making old age a welcome affair, which I think is really remarkable, and I thank him for that. Now, I have been asked to sort of inaugurate the PolyCare establishment. I find the ideals are absolutely stupendous. I think Sridhar should be our health minister. That will be a much better thing. Now, years ago, when I was in UK, when I was in Edinburgh, I happened to listen to a talk by a professor, an internationally acclaimed professor, a clinician, and a world teacher, because he wrote a textbook followed all over the world. Sir Derek Dunlop. He was talking about human communication, and I had the great good fortune to listen to it. We were all great admirers of Derek Dunlop, also the fact that he was our examiner at the Royal College. And he said that he was a man about town, and he was speaking in different forums all over the world constantly. He said when you invite somebody to speak in a meeting, please remember, he says, three things. One, never invite a specialist. A specialist or an authority on a subject will generally get deep into the subject and in great detail, and he will totally bore the audience. And he does not know he is boring because he always is at a particular level of circulation. And so it is dangerous to invite that man, and he is so big that you can't even ask him to stop. And so he will go on and on until he is exhausted. Second, he said never invite somebody who is not interested in the subject, who is not involved in the subject. Quite often you and I in India are forced to do this. We have to invite let us say, a minister for animal husbandry to come and talk about postgraduate education. Sometimes it turns out to be pretty ridiculous, but then you can't stop him because he's minister. And so he will not only bore the audience, but also bore himself. And so the best person to invite is somebody who is deeply involved in the subject, who is interested in the subject as a hobby, as a byline. This is not his lifeline, but then he is interested in the subject right from day one, for some reason, we don't know why. For example, completely out of his own line, take Colonel Sridhar for example. The army man, absolutely given to giving marching orders to young, stiff, very strong people, devoting his entire life to elderly people who will not sort of obey him because they can't hear him. And they will not march because all their joints are in trouble. And so here he is interested in this. And so it's some kind of a boon if you can listen to Colonel Sridharan on taking care of the elderly. And I said, so the point is to get somebody who is very interested. I am interested in management of old people. I am actually a specialist in geriatric medicine, in a way, that's in a way. But then I have never managed any medical administration. I have never been head of a department, and I have never been sort of managing any health setup at all. And so still he thought I was interested in this probably, and so has invited me. So he has done a good thing, he has invited me, but that does not guarantee I will not bore you, but you can't blame him if I bore you. But anyway, my practice has always been based, incidentally I must tell you that I have been a doctor for 60 years before some of you were born, and I have been a consultant for 50 years. And so I somebody to whom patients have referred cases for a second opinion, mostly general practitioners. And I noticed of late, in the last 20 years of practice almost, that the number of family doctors has come down, dwindled enormously. And in this context, I would like to tell you something. In the sense, I said I have been a doctor for 60 years, been a consultant for 50 years, and medicine has advanced most tremendously since man came on earth in these 60 years. All the spectacular advances that you find that have happened in medicine have all happened over the past 60 years, believe me. For example, I can give you some examples like the antibiotics that you have got to control infections, amazing advances in control of communicable diseases, amazing advances in anesthesia, miraculous surgical procedures, laparoscopic surgery, robotic surgery, prosthetic surgery, microsurgery, reconstruction surgery, hormonal therapies, organ transplantation, getting cadaver heart into somebody else, IVF, embryonic cell therapy. Man's expectation of life, believe me or not, across the world has gone up by 34 years as compared to 1920, 1930, 1940. Today, across the world, at least in the developed and developing countries, man has earned an extra 30 years of life. So all this something spectacular has happened. And so you would think, if you are one of you is a patient, you want to go to a doctor, you would be very, very grateful. You would be very happy. Now I am going to be treated by somebody. In my younger days, doctors used to be looked upon as agents of God. You know, you never say anything against the doctor. You just listen to what he says with great reverence and then follow what he says. So today, with all the things that a doctor can do, you would think his status must have even gone up further. I mean, you should now think the doctor is almost God. Lakshmipathi is not Lakshmipathi, but Ganapathy, right? And so this kind of thing you can think of. But has this happened? When you all go to a doctor, do you feel you have come to somebody absolutely supernatural? On the contrary, ladies and gentlemen, his status has fallen. Now, 50 to 60 to 80% of patients who go to consult a physician, who go to consult a specialist, come back feeling that they're disappointed now. They really don't think the doctor heard them. They don't really think that the doctors understood their problem. And where is this happening? Not in Araspuram, where I practice. It is actually in Mayo Clinic, in Ukula, in some of the world's leading centers. People have gone to consult a specialist with all their noting down, all their, many of my patients do this, write down Katala Budgavali and Vedic Pogale and all this. I tell them to bring, otherwise they'll come in front of me and start thinking. You know, that takes time. And so I tell them, bring it all. I listen to it one shot and go to sleep, right? And so these people bring all the symptoms, and they came back after meeting some of the world's top specialists, feeling that the doctor did not listen to them. He really did not know what I'm suffering from. This sense of disappointment, this is what has happened. Why? Why is this so? With the capacity the doctor today has got, the kind of things he can do, with the miracles he can almost perform, why is it that the average patient goes to meet a doctor and comes back disappointed that he is not getting good sort of hearing? I mean, as I told you, lots of research on this. I mean, you just open any paper, there are comments about doctors, what is happening to medical profession today, and why is it we don't have the old-time doctors and all that. Everybody has got tremendous respect for the old-time doctor. My father used to tell me, "Anta kaalathile the doctor kitta pona and all that kind of thing." You know, those doctors, you know, brilliant people who never took any money. I don't know how, they probably starved to death. Anyway, these people used to take them, and so there's a lot of reverence for them. Believe me, until 1950, when a doctor used any medication, there were only 10 drugs that acted. Out of 1,000 in British pharmacopoeia, there are only 10 medicines that gave any action at all. The rest were absolute placebo. So it was not the placebo effect from a drug, it's the placebo effect from a doctor. And that is why even all kinds of quacks, alternative medical practitioners, they are very successful for the simple reason they have got a placebo effect. And now why is it that this has happened? One reason, one which our friend Colonel Sridhar was telling, that the family doctor has almost disappeared from the face of the earth. Not in India, not in Pakistan, not anywhere. anywhere in the world, across the world, in Europe, where I practiced, in America, where I lived for a long time, in all these places, they are feeling acutely the dart of the family doctor and the family GP, so-called. The second is, I don't want to dwell much onto this subject, where the feeling gets now that doctors have got into business. It is no more a medical calling, it is a medical business, right? And I don't want to defend medical people, because I agree with you there. This is something terribly disappointing, but this is the image many doctors, not all, many doctors have given, that they have made a business of medical practice. Reasons are several. They want to, the whole system has altered, you see. And suppose you want to get to medical college, only after you pay so many lakhs of rupees. If you want to get to post-graduation, only after you pay 1 crore or something. The first thing that strikes this fresh, blossoming doctor is, I must get back that money, right? And when he invests, when he takes a loan from the bank, and there is corruption all over the place, corruption, of course, expected at the level of ministers and politicians, corruption at the level of the examiners, corruption at the level even at vice chancellor, and then you find corruption at the level of even patients. You will be surprised. Sometimes when postgraduate you go and examine a patient, if you give that fellow 100 rupees, he will give you the diagnosis. I mean, do you know that? He will tell you, sir, disseminated sclerosis. This is something I discovered late. I didn't know when I was a student, but I believe you tell the patient in advance. And so the patient knew he has got a diagnosis, so he'll keep quiet, and finally he'll say, Bell's palsy, right? Finished. And so, corruption at all levels, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the medical reputation has taken a kick. And so this is something that has to be set right. As I told you again, this is in a fraction of medical personnel. This is something I don't want to talk. But once I tried to talk about medical ethics in a meeting in Tiruchirappalli, and I was about to be attacked physically for being very open. So I have become a little wiser since that time. The third reason is, when you go to see a medical specialist, I'm recently, I have lived periods of my time in US, not only in Coimbatore, not in India. You go to US specialist, you find the man is not talking to the patient, he's talking to the computer. As soon as you go and sit in front of the specialist, the first thing that you see is large bum and his back, right? Because he's sitting in front of the computer. This is what is it? Then I got headaches since when. So he's talking to the computer. He doesn't know, he won't recognize me if he sees me on the road. Because he has addressed the computer. Once I told the doctor, I'm a doctor myself, I'm sorry, the trouble is with me, not with the computer. Right? So I have to tell him. At that time, no, that the patient has to be addressed. And so this is rampant. So as soon as the patient goes, the specialist is not interested in talking to you, taking time to get at your background, but he just wants to know immediately. And so in America it's worse, because somebody sitting outside will take your notes, some nurse will sitting there, and was your father bitten by a dog, all this kind of thing. She will be taking the history, right? And so, what's happening? What's happening is, I entered the doctor's clinic feeling a little inadequate because I only expressed it to somebody I had never seen in my life and won't see hereafter. And so this man looks at some piece of paper and says, oh. Then you go get an ECG done, this, and whatever it is. And so he sends you off because many doctors are electronically amplified. And so they rush you into investigations, MRI, PRI, KRI, whatever it is, right? And then they escape you, they scope you, they scrape you, they scuttle you, all that. They do all this kind of thing. And so naturally you are thinking, am I being treated or is my stomach being treated? Right? This is the question that arises. And so these are the reasons why there has been a shake of the faith of patients in their doctors. And now we'll talk only about the family doctor. Because that's the subject, I can talk hours and hours on the first 2 points and be short in the process. But then I can tell you, who is a family doctor? A family physician is a medical doctor who provides primary care. He treats acute and chronic illnesses, provides preventive care and health education for all ages and both sexes. Some of them care also for hospitalized patients. They do minor surgery, they do minor obstetrics. They used to be called GPs and general practitioners, then they all resented this. So now they are all called family doctors, right? And so this kind of a family doctor is what used to be, who used to be available all over the place, but now he's getting extinct. And how effective is his functioning? His functioning is enormously good because the family doctor is somebody who can mend everything from broken homes to broken bones to broken hearts, right? Whenever I get into deep involvement with some families, naturally, and I practiced for 50 years, I have treated fourth generation. Two families I have treated fifth generation. So you know what to tell, I used to tell, most of them I have known you since you were in liquid state, right? They've grown up in front of me, you know, I've seen him in underwear and now he's going without one. And so I have treated them all. And so I know also how good a family doctor is. He could repair your broken bones and broken heart, do delivery of babies and dispatch of grandmothers. And they used to medical history of the entire family. They know from our cousins who got abortion to periapas with piles, right? And they treated everybody irrespective of age and sex. And they treated you from age 1 right up to your growth. And then they know your economic background from insolvency to insurgency. They know about your family value systems, you are communist, or you are thrown out, or you are arrested, all this they know. So they know the entire setup, you see, and so this helps. This helps. When I treat you, I know that this mooku has come from Periyapati. Right? And so you naturally have a tremendous confidence in me. You are Ganapathy, right? And so I know, I treat some husbands, what he has done in Thailand, I should not tell his wife. But he knows that I know, and he knows that I won't tell anybody. This is very important. This is very, very important. And this is the kind of thing. And so what happens is, he is part of the family. And so in families, some Marwadi families, they will give the annual amount, you know, Deepavali. They will give you a big sort of tray full of saris and dhoti, giti, pajama, whatever you want, plus a nice little packet of cash every month, every year. That will happen. In China, they went one step further, and they will tell that this family, we will give you so many yuans or whatever. And so every time somebody in the family gets sick, they will cut down a bit. Right? You see, suppose I tell you that I give you 100,000 rupees at the end of the year. Your son got whooping cough, 50 rupees cut up. Because you just stopped whooping cough, isn't it? And so, like that, slowly, and the old lady fell in the bathroom. I mean, as you know, old women have a habit of it. They make a real culture of it. Because, you know, every 2 months they fall sick and every 2 weeks they fall in the bathroom. Right? And so, you find that this family doctor knew all this. And so, he was somebody he trusted. He came for the funeral. Personally, I never go to my patient's funeral. You know, this is a bad thing. Everybody will say, Avardhan. But I go to other people, other funerals, treated by, yaar sir pata raha hai. That helps my practice considerably. So, this is how interesting it is. And so, this is the kind of man the family doctor was. And so, what is he good? Is he functional? Does it help you? I can tell you something fantastic. In the sense, it is estimated that 90% of an individual's medical needs can be met by a family practitioner in the clinic. And 80% of the problems that you suffer will treat themselves. Right? Hippocrates said this. Leave him alone, he will get better. There is no doubt at all. And the worst offenders are the obstetricians. I mean, women used to deliver all over the place, in the fields and all that kind of thing. Now they just watch and say, Mukku, and then 25,000. You delivered, not the obstetrician, isn't it? So you see, witness, you just witness. And so nature heals you. The doctor collects as a witness the fees. You know, so most of the things will get better themselves. And so when you have some Kairashi doctor, it is simply the fact that most of your illnesses are minor. Right? Most quacks are very successful for the simple reason that most illnesses cure themselves. And so not only that, he will come in, hold your hand and I'll give a little massage. The party has not been massaged for 40 years. She's very grateful, right? And so there you are. And so that is how it happened. 90% of patients' medical needs can be met by your family doctor without referring you to somebody. The family doctor gives you medical care through the course of your life, which is extraordinary. Suppose here is a doctor who knows you from your childhood and seen you grow. You can tell that. I can tell my patients. If he talks nonsense, I will tell him, you are patient. He accepts me because he knows me as well as his father or uncle or tata, whatever. And then it's a maxim in medicine that best care is given when you are at home. As a patient, you like to be given care at home. I mean, people who need medical admission, they won't go, sorry, ICU now, right? This kind of fright, the fear that you may be admitted to a hospital and have to be taken care of by some total strangers. I have been in ICU myself at my age, naturally, been treated by people. I once woke up and found suddenly I was surrounded by screens and all people with masks and all that kind of thing. So I thought I had died, right? And so then they are speaking Malayalam and all that, I can't understand. So first time I knew that they speak Malayalam in hell. And so everybody wants to be treated at home. The doctor can do it. And everybody wants to die at home. I mean, whenever I see some old person, he says, take me home. He knows that he's dying. He wants to take home. Not that it makes a difference. I mean, he's not going to hell from ex-hospital and heaven from home. He just wants to be in a setting he knows better. He's more comfortable. The family doctor can do it for you so nicely. And so you find these are some of the advantages of having a family doctor. And then, why is it doctors are not taking to family medicine? Why is it family practice diploma or degree that are being offered now not so popular? When I graduated, when I was a house surgeon, most of my classmates, we used to be very close-knit in the house surgeon's quarters. They used to say they will go back to Ariangopam, they will go to Vartanadu, wherever, and practice. There is no question of anybody wanting to become a specialist. Only the brightest thought that they will become a specialist at some stage. Most of them just wanted to go back and practice or build a small hospital so that they can treat cases of minor illnesses, you see. And so now it is not there. Why is it so? Because the family doctor doesn't make much money as compared to a specialist. You have specialists who can do a gastroscopy. So you just do a gastroscopy, put a tube in, and he's not doing much. Once you put the tube beyond the throat, you will swallow it, right? And so it goes in, pulls it out, 7,000, 10,000, whatever it is. And of course, the pretension is that the gastroscope cost 2 lakhs. And he got the 2 lakhs back in 1941, right? And so he's still making money out of that. And so there is some conspiracy also. They will one day announce each other. Now, anyway, like gastroscopy, I'm going to make it 5,000. What do you say? Good idea. Like, yeah. Everybody pays 5,000. There's no logic, nothing. Simply it is there, right? And so you find the family doctor does not get much money. And so unfortunately, the society does not recognize this. And that is why you find the specialist lives in the penthouse, whereas the family doctor lives in the basement. See, this is what happens. That is why. And the second is, there is a general idea that the general practitioner is not that smart. Now, had he been smart, he would have become MD. Had he been smart, he would have taken some degree abroad. This is absurd. It is absolutely absurd that they are less qualified, not so smart, essentially less valuable compared to the specialist, the technically advanced man who is doing scopies and all that kind of thing. That is the general feeling. Because, why do they feel like that? Because they think the family doctor's practice or the way he tackles patient is easy. Whereas if you want to put a stent in a coronary artery, it's very, very difficult. It is not. Right? Because this man has been putting a stent into coronary arteries for the past 50 years, he's done 10 a day. So he has been treating the same disease in several people for a long time. Whereas the family doctor, he is treating different diseases in the same man for a long time. And that's more tricky. I mean, once or twice, I've been caught in a family doctor situation. Right? Once I went to see some old man and I was taught to say hello to him. Suddenly this man held his chest and started having convulsion. Right? Then I became really nonplussed. Because this man is throwing convulsions, he's frothing in the mouth, and his lot beard and all that, frothing into the beard also. And then the whole family started shouting, Tata, somebody already Tata. So it's terrible. I mean, it can be really distressing for you to take, let us child, let us say, he suddenly is screwing up eyes and looking at the ceiling fan. You can imagine the whole mother, father, grandfather, and suddenly neighbors also rush in. Once there is some commotion, they want to join in the fun, right? They will say, "Inna doctor, inna doctor." It can be very frightening, very demanding. But they think that is all very easy. Putting a stent, nicely surrounded by beautiful nurses, and you've got a stent ready-made, anesthesia is given, you've got a hospital backing bag, just put a stent. Stenting is a stunt, right? It is not. But this is general unfortunate perception about the family doctor. And so you find that these qualities of the family doctor are undervalued. And so he thinks, why should I do all this and go there? You find I have known businessmen who told me, MBBS pantan, MD vaangite, or 4 instrument vaangi kodta, he's a businessman. 4 instrument vaangi kodta, he'll make his money. So he's thinking it is an investment. It is no more something where you have a professional calling. It's an investment to make more money. And so if that is the attitude of the business father, the son is a congenital businessman, right? He's the idea, right? So there he is. So medical knowledge is advancing in all fields. Any specialist, gastroenterologist, a rheumatologist, endocrinologist, neurologist, this is advancing in all fields, and several things are being done from a very specialized unit. And so we must know that if there is one advance, let us say there's a drug-eluting stent is being put in, or if they are doing some laparoscopic prostatectomy. This has been done after some 500, at least for some 10,000 cases. They have attempted 500 papers over a period of 5 years. It is accepted. It is given to the specialist on a piece of platter. And so he knows this is now safe to do. And he does it. And how to coach the family doctor? Because a specialist is getting coached in different directions. The family doctor, you cannot coach him in ophthalmology, in obstetrics, in pediatrics, in orthopedics, in arthritis, whatever. It is very difficult to coach him. And so he gets into a state of complex that he probably is not as good. And so in course of time, he becomes a post office. Somebody comes, so this is unfortunate. And he's shaking his faith in himself further. And so these are some of the sad things that keep happening, and that is why it's so unpopular. Fellows don't want to get into family practice. And there are some myths about this, I have told you. And then the question is, how do you sort of make up for all this? How do you get the family doctor back into the picture? By public education, by having places where family doctors are nicely backed and they are supported. And so the public begin to encourage them, have their own family doctor. Because most of them say, family doctor is career, which I think is very unfortunate. Because how does a family doctor help you? He can be most comprehensive. As I already told you, 90% of individual patients' needs can be met by a family doctor who is competent. And it is less cost. Certainly, a family doctor is not going to sort of cost you an arm and a leg. Some minimal cost he is going to have. And then he can give you preventive medicine. He can tell you about preventive vaccinations or immunizations for all, not only children, for adults also. Many immunizations, vaccinations are done for adults for certain diseases. That can be done periodically. There's an epidemic of some influenza or pneumonia. Then he can protect you from that. And then psychological overlay. Do you know that any chronic illness, there is 80% of chronic illnesses, suppose you got an arthritis, or you got a migraine, or you got high blood pressure causing you breathlessness and all that, there is a functional overlay. The mind comes into bearing into this. And so it causes lots of problems themselves. And so this functional overlay should be understood. And you can easily say, that's not the answer. This patient is suffering, isn't it? Suppose the patient says, I don't have appetite, I can't sleep at night. That's not the answer. He cannot sleep for some reason. The family doctor knows that you're not sleeping because your wife is snoring. Right? So this kind of thing he is aware. And so he will advise you on the functional overlay properly. And psychiatric cases, people who throw stones and all that kind of thing, who we completely deranged, the so-called psychotics. Only 5% of them need psychiatric care. 95% of them, you've got either obsessional compulsive neurosis, you've got an anxiety neurosis, and all these kinds of things can all be treated by the family doctor very adequately and completely. No question, cured. So only 5% need a care from a psychiatrist. So a family doctor is best equipped to give psychological background. I mean psychological therapy, which is called counseling. This a family doctor can do magnificently. And so you find that the family physician can give you a comprehensive, complete care. And so it is for the public to encourage this. A beautiful, laudable effort like Sridharan's should all be encouraged by the public so that, it comes back into popularity. And then he can centralize all your medical records. I mean, I see patients who say, oh, ECG, adu Kupasamy Naidu, EEG, Ramakrishna, KMCS. So I can't be going around collecting all of it. Take me half a day, isn't it? And so he hasn't got any record. And so any specialist hospital will give you a record which will be completely pertaining to what they have done. Right? Like a cardiologist. You got pain here. He will say, heart nalla irukku, over. Right? He didn't come only with the heart. A human being came with the heart, isn't it? And so his pain is to be answered. What doctors will do it, right? Then push him back. He has said that your heart is all right, but that is bloody well not the treatment, isn't it? So they won't do that. So they'll give only whatever is very, very specific. And the family doctor can give you health counseling. For example, suppose he smokes, and of course usually he will tell you how many cigarettes he smokes, but he will never tell you how many drinks he has. His wife will tell you. Right? Occasional, sir, Sunday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like that. His wife said, sir, right? So I only correct answer. Right? And so I'm interested in families where I know all this. And so the family doctor will give you the background. He will give you the talk about lifestyle, how to control. But he can give you pamphlets, he can give you posters, he can give you talks, he can do screening, he can tell you also unnecessarily don't go screening. Because some hospitals promote the idea that every birthday you must go and have a complete screening. Absurd, right? There's no need at all. You're as good as your last birthday. And so they promote this, they find, discover diseases that you never knew existed. When you are getting on happily without knowing it, why should you know this? Just carry on as you are. Dave, come here. Then you have got more homocysteine. Homocysteine is, you think, is your cousin. And this is apparently something very dangerous. And so, this is something they can palliative care. So, party is dying. Who is going to come and sit and make sure that an exit is good? So, incidentally, my advice is when Tata party is dying without any serious reversal possible, let them die in peace. Never deny them the dignity of death. Let them die as they said. There's something called living will. In case some of you have written you can write saying, I do not want to be interfered with on my deathbed. I don't want the following: 1, ventilated tube; 2, oxygen; 3, intravenous drips; 4, gastroscope; 5, enema. Whatever you want to write. Right? This is living will. It has to be honored. And so this palliative care at the end of life, taking care, is something a family doctor can do beautifully. Because he has known Party since she was a Kumari, right? And so he can talk to her, he sits with them, holds her hand, and all this kind of thing. And so you find palliative care is best given. So for all three reasons you find family care, physician is a boon. And I think everybody should try to encourage having his own family doctor. But the trouble is that there are so few of them, they are overloaded, right? And so there are family doctors who charge you extra for doing thermometer and some extra for doing blood pressure and all. I'm upset, almost upset. And so they are overloaded, and so naturally they can't spare the time. And we don't believe in all this, appointment system. And so they will rush in. They will sit, and so he has to do quickly. But more family doctors there are, the better the health care is going to be. I have no doubt Sridharan's effort and his colleagues' effort is going to be great, great success. And I think you should, all of you, should spread the message amongst your people and make sure that this becomes a success. So as far as Colonel Sridharan is concerned, அவரை வணங்க வயததிகம் வணங்கவில்லை, வாழ்த்த வயதிற்கு வாழ்த்துகிறேன். Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you all to stand up and give a standing ovation to Dr. G. Lakshmipathi for his thought-provoking and yet humorous speech.